Hi there, welcome back to my channel. I'm Leanne. Today I'd like to share an inspirational story. I was speaking with my cousin Michael the other day, and he was sharing with me some of his successes and how he got there. And he was explaining to me how he uses these mantras and positive affirmations every single day. And he has been doing this before he learned of me teaching manifesting. So this is something that he's always used in his life, and he actually got what he wanted through them. I wanted to share a few of the things that he had shared with me because it was the most inspiring conversation that I've had in a long time. He is just such a sweet man, a good father, just all around a good guy, and I'm hoping to actually do a video with him one of these days for my channel. But okay, so here's some of his that I pulled out of his big list that he sent me, because these are things that I actually use in my life as well. So he says in the mornings, I will attract in my life what I am. Now this comes down to the self-concept that I speak about in many of my videos. I am is what you believe you are, or who you believe you are. So if you say I am successful, then you're going to be seeing things around you that's going to show you that you're successful. If you say things like, you know, I'm stupid, or I don't know, I can't even think of anything, but negative things, then you're going to reflect that as well through things around you and what you receive in your life. Another one that he says is, confidence is the first step to accomplishment. And that, again, comes down to the self-concept. Self-concept to me is so important. Now, it doesn't mean that you always have to be flying high in your confidence to get anything you want in life. Because, you know, we've all manifested things when we felt like shit. We didn't think we would actually, you know, get these things that we wanted. So, you know, it doesn't mean that you have to always be on this high positive vibe. But self-concept to me is very important, because it is what your subconscious belief is of who you are. And again, who you believe you are is who you will show up as in your reality, and everyone will show up to reflect that back to you. Another one that he says is, you become unstoppable when you realize you can do it all alone. And it's true, because I remember when I was younger, you know, I always used to think I couldn't do things by myself. I would always ask for help. And my father used to say to me, don't depend on anybody but yourself, because in the end, it is all you. You are the only one that's going to be there for yourself, you know? So you should be your own cheerleader, the one that you have confidence in, you know, like, don't put yourself down. I used to do that. I'm guilty of it. I used to say, I can't do this, or I'm not smart enough to do this. And now I say the opposite, because I don't want to continue reflecting the fact that I can't do these things that I keep saying that I can't do. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so, oops, there goes my phone. All right, so another one that Michael uses is, how big would you dream if you knew you couldn't fail? This is one of my favorite ones that he says. I love this one, and I think I'm going to use it. Thank you, Michael. I absolutely love it. So it's kind of like how, I think I mentioned this before, like if you knew that you were going to get $1 million next week. Like, let's say you played the lottery today and you actually got the winning numbers, and you knew that within a week you're going to have that money in your bank account, you know? Like, if you knew this, how big really would you be able to dream, you know? Like, if you're expecting these things, then you have no worries, right? Like, you don't have to worry about your money if you know that you're going to get that money. So if you knew that you wouldn't fail and you would get anything you want, how big would you dream? A lot of people do manifest in steps. I have done this as well, because sometimes it's just really hard to, you know, get our subconscious to really fathom you know, these huge successes, but it can happen, and it has happened. And sometimes staying in that kind of thought mindset, you will get things a little bit quicker, I find anyway, because if you're going for like, okay, let's say you want to make $10,000 a month, but you find that really hard to really grasp that, okay, that's a lot of money. So you might say, okay, I'll start out small, and let me just say, okay, I want to make $1,000 a week. You know, you can do that in steps like that to eventually get to the point where you actually believe that you're going to make this $10,000 a week. But sometimes just going straight to that end, like I make $10,000 a week, you're going to see abundance of money coming in, and it'll probably be that $1,000 or more, you know, weekly. So go for the big dreams, you know, don't be afraid to dream big, because I mean, actually, that's a really good way of testing things out, you know. Put out there and really focus on it, though. You know, like, don't just put it out there once and forget about it, but really focus on something that you feel like, okay, I probably won't get this, but what the hell? Let me just try anyways. Put it out there, not something that you need. Meaning, like, let's say you really need, you know, to be healthy. Or you really need this specific person in your life and you have this resistance. Not something like that. I'm talking about something completely different, you know, like, I don't know, let's say you've always wanted, I don't know, to, I can't even think, but let's say you've always wanted to own a limousine or something. I don't know, it's just, I can't even think right now, but think of something that you've always wanted, but you think, okay, that's never going to happen. Just see where it goes, you know, keep focusing on that. And actually, I'm curious to hear if any of you got any of these manifestations. So comment down below if you have, because, you know, I'd like to do some success videos in the future with more stories from all of you. Okay, so one thing that Michael said, and this comes down to my video where I had explained that we're in the Matrix. And how I explain our realities is that our mind is the script, and what you're seeing around you, the 3D, is the movie being played out. But Michael's analogy is life is a video game. And he said to me, the difference is now I have the controller in my hand. And I love that. Once you realize or look at yourself like you are the avatar, and your mind is that controller, and you actually can control the things around you, the things you receive, how people show up for you. The sky's the limit. You know, you're going to actually see so many things coming to you. And Michael had explained to me that that's how he got his beautiful daughter, his wonderful wife, his home. It's all from this positive thinking. You know, you might have heard so many success stories because they're out there, of people who started with nothing and then they are like a billionaire, you know. So it's not impossible. I don't want you to look at your life now as a hindrance in what you want to create in your future, because it doesn't matter. You know, now is, as I explained before, it's just the memories of what you keep thinking of. I've had some things that I was revising. I'm not going to go into it because, you know, they're things that I wanted to change. And these are things that were playing out in my head all the time. They were really bad memories for me. When I started revising them, I noticed that I was forgetting a lot of key details about this memory. And that can happen, you know, and eventually people around you won't even remember that it happened. They'll look at you like, what are you talking about, you know? And then eventually you might not remember it at all. And it'll just be staying in the past. It's not going to continue in your future. And that can change who you become, actually. Because when you start today with positive thinking, a positive mindset, and positive, I mean, it's not that you have to be in this high vibe, like I mentioned, but you're not going to sit here and say, I wish I had a broken leg. You know what I mean? So when I talk about positive, I mean like what you want, what you desire. I'm pretty sure most of you do not desire bad things to happen to you. So when I mention positive, it means the things that you want. So if you start with the positive thinking today of what you want and continue that, that will become your future, and then it will be the memory. So you'll be looking back at like today as if that's just the past memory. Neville had done or spoke about how, okay, let's say you want to live in a big, beautiful home. Like, let's say you live in a tiny little apartment, you want to live in a big, beautiful home. So one way that Neville talks about doing this is look at yourself now as if it's your past. So like, close your eyes, you know, visualize yourself sitting in, like, okay, let's say you want to be in your living room, right? So close your eyes, picture what your living room around you would look like, and then think to yourself, like what you're looking at right now, think to yourself that, wow, I remember when I used to live in this tiny little home with this, you know, living room that I didn't like, it wasn't big enough, whatever, and visualize what you're living in now, but as if that's you looking back at your past. Sorry, my throat's so dry. I hope that makes sense to all of you. So anyways, thank you again, Michael. You are such an inspiration. I can't wait to speak more about this manifesting lifestyle with you. It was just so inspiring. I hope that you all have inspiring stories to share. I would love to hear them, and I hope you have yourself a beautiful day. I love you all. I will see you in the next video.